wanted to unmute. Okay.
Welcome. We're going to salute the flag to start the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I have an over under of 30 minutes tonight. And I feel like I'm gonna meet that. So we'll see. Are there any announcements? That was an announcement. Are there any other announcements?
The one where
I have that.
Okay.
Not seeing any. We're going to moment of silence in memory of Franklin Pat Pond. Mr. Pond served on the zoning board for 17 years and was an active supporter of the Blue Compton Center.
Just a word on that, having served in the time that he was on the zoning board, he was the zoning board in terms of face of the board. He wasn't the chair, wasn't deputy chair. He was the secretary, but he was the person, if you wanted to know what was going on at the zoning board, he was available. A wonderful, very much missed.
The community center did allow us to borrow the portrait that they had done for him, and that's this portrait right here.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Approval of minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of March 6, 2025 and March 13th, 2025 special meeting. Unless anybody wants to pull anything out for discussion.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, old business one. That's from Historical Preservation Advisory Committee to be included, active contributor in the process of rehabilitating 30 comments. We've had two members appointed to the Commons Review Committee, so this has happened. So I don't need to do anything else with that. A letter from town clerk correcting the official name of the new Historic Preservation Advisory. Actually, it was called the Historical Preservation Advisory Committee, which is not grammatically correct. Also, request for the council to consider if they want term lengths for the members. Currently, the committee has no term. So I'm going to make a motion that we have 3-year staggered terms without prejudice. And we're going to have to do something fun today. We're going to do it. We're going to pick out of a cup. It's going to be numbers with names. It's going to be fun. So we're going to do that now.
It's going to be fun.
Be fun.
Doesn't the motion have to pass?
I'll second it.
We're going to do this under discussion. We'll do it we're in discussion. And then look at this. Look at that.
There's numbers 1 through 7 in here because there's 7 members. Pick out one number, please. All right, what we're doing is 7 members. The first 2 numbers pulled out of this cup will be 1-year terms. The next 2 will be 2-year terms. The next 3 will be 3-year terms. And then every term expiration after that, they'll be renewed at 3. So this first number is actually number 3. Whoever's name is assigned to that number will get a 1-year term. Can you pass it to Bob and ask him?
I inadvertently saw that. I have number 2.
Okay, you pass the cup down. We'll make everybody move on out. Go ahead.
This is the first in my 27 years on the council.
I want people to know that it's fair. We're not looking at names. We're just pulling out the number.
I got 6 or 9, whatever one.
6. We don't have 9.
I have 1.
Okay.
5. Pass it, run it down
Keep
along the other guys.
Go.
Sure.
I have 2 more spots, so it's perfect.
This must be a first to you, Mr. Yes. 7, the last year.
7, okay.
You pass it.
4.
Alrighty. So do you want to know who?
Yes, everybody wants to know the names.
All right. So Beth Kinnan will have a 1-year term. Leslie Fox have a 1-year term. There is a vacancy that is coming up. Michael Foley has resigned. We'll handle that a little bit later, but that seat will have a 2-year term. The next one is Marjorie O'Toole. She will have a 2-year term. And next one is Clark Schodel. He will have a 3-year term. And then we have Horace Sedanians. He will have a 3-year term. And Warren Jagger, 3-year term.
All right, very exciting. Thank you.
Pardon?
The fun, you just had the fun. You just had it.
I think you just had the fun.
You just had it.
You need a motion for it.
So,
Acceptable. So you didn't vote on that final one, so just,
I'm in discussion right now.
I know, but he's looking to see about the names, include, put you in the names.
Going to include names,
It was just read by Carol.
read by Carol. Thank you, Gary. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Old business 2, a copy of the email response.
Do you want to vote to correct the name of the committee?
Yeah, we did.
We already did.
That was in that.
That was fine.
That's part of
It's part of what he read.
Copy of an email response from Michelle McGaw to the council president concerning the town's concerns over excessive use of salt on roads during storm events. So I have that letter. It's in the packet. I talked with Michelle McGaw on the phone, a lengthy call. And we were stymied that we couldn't get, RIDOT to put anything in writing. So I took some notes, with Michelle, because she's talked to RIDOT. And just a few things I wrote down, salt and sand mixture was getting gummed up, so they put more salt was added to the roads. RIDOT does not think there is a negative, effect on wells at this time. Another note I had, if there is a well that has salt contamination, there is a reporting program at DOT for monetary remediation. So those are the notes that I took when I spoke with her about this issue. But we also did get Rhode Island DOT to write something on paper, delivered to us, and I just read it to you. Our maintenance division offered the following. We did not increase our salt application rate this winter. We have, however, an increased emphasis on using salt brine this year to reduce the amount of road salt we use. The winter season has been a lot of storms followed by a rapid increase in temperature, causing an increase in ice operations. All is set. So I just want to thank Michelle McGaw. We've been on this for 6 weeks. It's kind of like getting the blood out of a stone up there. So that's what I wanted to report that. We don't need to. New business 1, letter from the chair of the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee for the council to adopt the historic architectural resources of Compton survey of 1990. They further suggest the survey be updated and amended periodically. I talked to Marjorie O'Toole, my resident expert, who I think she's an expert on everything, so that's what I call her that. She says this is a great idea, and she thinks we should adopt that. So I'm happy to make a motion to adopt historical committee and architectural resource book Compton survey in 1990. And further says survey be updated and amended periodically. So I have a second.
Isn't that you suggested also gets updated? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, I read it.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Gonna update it.
That's my,
You know, I called Marjorie and when I talked to her about this, she told me, and I can't remember that. Do you remember what she said?
The way it's done is best way to hire a consultant. Because it's quite extensive.
talking to Mike over there, because
The way it's done is to hire a consultant that will be the best streamlined method.
Was that Marjorie's suggestion?
That was the entire group's suggestion, actually. We all done that.
And Marjorie agreed.
This was discussed at our meeting,
Marjorie was present
put it unanimously, yes.
and she voted for that.
Yes. So did Clark and Warren, who actually do this kind of work.
Okay.
The way it's done is actually you hire someone, if you're interested, the cost is anywhere between $8,000 to $15,000.
However, I'd like to share again with the committee, if the district is claimed to be a historic district by the town, then a lot of federal monies are available. So we'll apply for a grant. It will be covered in its entirety.
Great, I look forward to see that.
Should we,
For that to next.
Hey, thanks.
should we allow the, committee to forward and seek out a consultant and bring
I
back
don't
some
think that was in the,
information to us?
information.
Yeah, bring the information back to us for us to
Yeah.
decipher and maybe approve to go forward with a consultant.
So if the committee wants us, we'll contact the consultant or two and get pricing on it, what it is exactly, and then I can report back to you.
Exactly, that's my motion.
So I have a motion on the table.
All right,
I'm happy to retract.
Well, either that or just amend it.
yeah, just a minute.
I'll amend my motion that they come back with a report on a consultant.
And pricing. Yeah.
All in favor?
All right,
Any opposed? Thank you. 2, resignation received from Michael Pocarelli resigning from the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. Said that a few times tonight. Effect March 3rd, 2025. This vacancy has been posted. Received letters of interest in March 7th, 2025. Deadline is 20th. So we'll accept that regret. I don't think we need a motion for that, do we, Carol?
Yes, you do.
I do need a motion. I'll make that motion.
second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, A, letter from Patrick Bowen requesting to sit on the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. Shouldn't open occur. It looks like an opening has occurred just this second. And I'll make a motion to appoint Patrick Bowen. I'll say it again, Historic Preservation Advisory Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Resignation received from Isabel Mattia, resigning from the Little Compton Housing Trust. Again, we accept that with regret. Our hard work. I have a motion. Second.
Second,
All in favor?
can I make a comment?
We're in discussion, sure.
Thank you. I just want to, I don't know if Isabel's watching, but I just want to recognize that she's done a tremendous amount for that group, and they've come a long way and they're making some great progress, and I'm proud of their work. And I think it is definitely regretful that Isabel won't be able to be a part of it anymore, but I personally thank her and wish her all the best.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 4, Farmers Housing update from Council McKeon. A meeting held this week is requested by the farmers in town. We had a meeting yesterday. It was a very nice meeting. And we really centered around a document that Allison Ring, who was our planner that we hired, North of News doesn't be shown, if I'm not mistaken, Long Island. She's very good. This document lives in, from my understanding, lives in the planning board from 2023. So we dusted it off. And I think what we should do is have the solicitor mock this up, clean this up, bring it back in 2 weeks so we can have a full discussion of council before we send it back to the planning board. Again, it's just my thought. Gary, you probably have some.
Yeah, I do.
That was my thought.
This is something, as far as, I'll read a section, there shall be a single household detached dwelling on the lot, farm property, and the owner operator of the farm shall occupy such dwelling unit as his or her primary legal residence, domicile. And I'm assuming that residence on there, and there'll be an accessory dwelling for workers. Now, I've been trying to get the Ag Trust to come forward, help us out financially. I think they're running with $4 million in their kitty right now. I don't see why we couldn't have them try to help the farmers out a little like that. I've also said many times, and many people have heard it, that they can buy all the farmland and agricultural land they want, but if they're not farming it, they turn it into open space. You gotta get people on it to farm it. And I said, one suggestion is, why don't you see if you can build a barn so that people come into town and keep their tractors and whatnot inside this barn? because my understanding, somebody tried to come into town and do that, and the equipment was outside, and every time they went, it was, all wet, and, you can't keep that kind of equipment outside. So when Don McNaught was here, to last meeting, he kind of assured me that they were gonna start looking at things like that. So I had asked him to come back in June and come to the council every 3 months and give us an update of what they're doing. And I'm hoping to talk to him and see if he can, enlighten me on if they're gonna try to do that. But right now, it's a problem. This is gonna be costly to the farmer to build an accessory dwelling and to put a septic system on it. You're talking $700,000, and these farmers, which are like fishermen, are just hanging on by, a thread. They can't afford that kind of money, and they're gonna need some help. And Agricultural Service Trust, I think they should be more forthcoming to our farmers to help them stay farming. But two of the farmers called me yesterday and said this is not what they're looking for at the present time. What they're looking for is maybe a variance or some kind of allowance by the zoning, concurrence by the planning board, be able to put trailers or RVs on their property. And then have porta johns for these guys to use. Have the workers come down for 5 or 6 days out of the week, stay in these temporary units, and then go back to their family for a day or two, or whatever they want. That's up to the farmers to decide how they want to do that. But that's the need right now. Because people can't come from Cranston or Providence, where a lot of these workers come from. They don't come from Tiverton. They don't come from Fall River. And it's very costly for them to drive down, and the amount of money they're making, it's just not worth it. So the farmers in town are struggling. So I would like the solicitor to try to put something in here for temporary housing, i.e. trailers or RVs.
To that point.
Yeah.
And I think it's appropriate to refer it out so that we can put a little meat on the bones here. But while you're referring it to us, can you also have it that we be working with Mr. Simmons, the building official, on this? Because a lot of the issues that you brought up tie less with zoning issues than with the state building code.
Mm.
And that's the one thing that I need to speak with Dean about. So I'd like to include him in this.
That would be fine. I'll include that in my motion. But this is, farm season's coming right around the corner. These guys are probably going to start planting in the middle of April. That's when they need the workers, and they need the workers in May and June when they start harvesting the crops. So this can't be a situation, okay, well, we're going to do that, but, we'll put it on the back burner. This has been on the back burner for a couple of years. If we're really serious about keeping our farmers farming in this town, we need to help them. And I think this is the first thing they've asked for. I've been diligent, and everybody's heard me talk to the Ag Trust. If you buy land, you don't put a farmer on it, it's open space. If you don't give them the tools to do it, I tried to do it with crop cannons. Bob and I met with Ken Ayers, the head of Agriculture for Rhode Island, the head of DEM, Luda Palmer, Tyler Young at Tyler Young's farm. I think there was a couple others, Bob and I and those people. And they were working with us to try to get a bird deterrent. Okay. And it's very difficult to get that free. So my suggestion to the Ag Trust was, why can't you put $100,000 in kitty? And if these people buy these bird deterrents, they're using crop cannons, because when I was listening to crop cannons, when there was complaints from up north, they were going off 30. One time I did state for a half an hour, they went off 28 times. The next time they went off 32 times. So that's 60 blasts an hour times 10 hours a day, 600 blasts for a neighborhood. And I also said the Ag Trust should find out what's going to be farmed on that property, If it's not in a residential area, things locked up. You're gonna lease out land that's near an agriculture, near a residential area. You gotta know what those people are gonna plant there. If they're gonna plant potatoes, knock yourself out. But if they're gonna plant cherries or corn, then you gotta have bird deterrents, such as lasers or these balloons or something. And maybe a crop cannon blast every couple hours, but not 60 times an hour. So I think you need to put something in there, speak with Dean and try to allow these guys to put some RVs or trailers. I mean, they do it down at South Shore. What is Dean doing about the trailers that stay down at South Shore? That stay over at, the restaurant over in the middle of the town? They're open. Yeah, stocking horse, whatever.
That was actually my question. That's one of the things I need to do.
Right. How are they allowed to go down there, 10 or 20 or 30 of them? When that's actually a violation of all those, I'm not sure, but Dean will know.
Before you go too far, one, that's not actually on the agenda, so be
Right,
careful.
right, sure.
Two, to answer your question quickly, there's a state camp
Okay,
permit that
okay.
area has, so.
There, do you have a motion?
Yeah, I have a motion to allow the solicitor to go with the suggestions I made about having let the farmers have temporary trailers or RVs on their properties with porta johns, as long as they have portable water. And it won't be more than 9 months, and then they'll have to remove them, and then when the springtime comes around again, they can bring them back on. And to have the solicitor bring something back and also speak to our building official on zoning.
So, second, and we're just discussion.
This, I think, when Skip and Ben Wolbeck came before us, it was 2 years ago, I think it was 20.
April 23.
And they went to the planning, well, and so I don't know if the planning board did they ever put anything together?
This year.
Oh, you got,
Yeah, it's in your packet.
no, I don't.
That's the original,
That's the original,
that came from the planning.
but this doesn't reflect the intent with which Skip and Ben came.
No. At your meeting, because I looked this up for Victoria, at the meeting of April 23, this discussion happened and the council voted to remand it back to the planning board for them to do further work. It never came back from the planning. board. So this
Document,
is kind of a second remand.
document lives in planning, what it's worth. That's where it's living right now.
So
We're gonna mock it up with Garrett's suggestion. And get it turned around in 2 weeks.
Yes, we can, yes.
and then I think that if it's
Yes.
just authorized by the building official, then we can allow this to go forward this year. Because like I say, planting season's coming. There's two farmers here. Would either one of you like to say anything? Yeah, he's here.
You have to go up to the podium. The people on the live feed can't hear you. And they'll blow up my phone.
Hi, I'm Skip Paul. I run Wishing Stone Farm and I'm one of the farmers that requested this procedure start happening. And yeah, I'd like to talk to Dean about it. I think one of the visions, I think there's ways one thing's attractive about RVs that most RVs can hold, shower water and other things for 7 days. So I think an RV, you don't have to worry about the state issues about septic system stuff. I think the RV can be self-contained and we can hire a guy on a 7-day basis, take whatever's in their RV and just remove it. So there's no question about, septic systems. And I think for the most part, we're a certified GAP in Rhode Island, which means our water is tested for potability just to wash our vegetables. So our water has to pass a certain high level of potability. So I think any water that we would service the trailers with would be tested at least once a month, potability and safety. So I think the water, even if it comes out of a hose, will be enough. I think we can answer any questions about potability. And quite frankly, I think these, this is like a 10-foot cord that it's next to a certified electrical outlet. It's just a question of a 6-foot plug going from that. I think that's easily electric, put that in a half an hour. So I think I'm willing to work with Dan. I think we've addressed the issues that those are the three big issues I think are out there. So.
That's about right. Thank you.
Maybe if you go see Dean and tell him what your plan is, then when Tony, the solicitor, talks to him, Dean can say, this is what they want, this is how we go about it.
Yeah, I'll run it. I'll talk to Dean next day or so.
Yeah, Dean
Just up to,
is constantly talking to the solicitor about going forward with certain things, so.
So it's water, waste disposal and electricity,
excuse me.
water, electricity and waste disposal.
That's the only thing I think the state could ever begin to, I think it's the only big issues. The rest of it's maybe where it's situated on property line. I think the housing authority might suggest it kind of not quite the front of it. It's kind of, we have the space. I know it's easy for us at Wishing Stone Farm, put it back, but I mean, like Skinny Dip, their actual property is only about barely an acre and a half, so you may have to work out a deal with that. So thanks for your time looking at this. Thank you so much.
We'll talk about it more in 2 weeks if the solicitor does its job.
Yeah, so that,
So young dude, but I'm so gonna say a few words. I cannot say it. I was gonna say it.
you're not gonna come out at night without saying
For him, for him it is.
My name is Tyler Young. I own a Young Family Farm with my wife Carla, and we've probably grown up to be one of the largest growers in the state now. We operate about 300 acres throughout the state and Tiverton. And we at this point don't need this, but I'm here more support. Our help really comes out of Central Falls and Pawtucket, and those folks want to be up there with their families. And I know part of what was said yesterday is that they you guys didn't want to have families down here. My folks just want to be with their families. They are family. So that won't work for our operation. Skip's approached me many times before about this, and I know I've talked to Gary many times. To me, if you're going to help your farmers, help them. I mean, it's always very different people that are after us and squawking at us about cannons or smells or whatever there is. The more folks want to help us, the more we're going to be around. And there's not a lot of us left. I talked to Skip about it. We're almost the last of the Mohicans around here. So just be very conscious. You do simplify things, don't complicate things. And it should happen.
Thank you, Tyler. Yeah. Thanks.
So Tony, the main thrust of I think what you want to talk to Dean with is getting this temporary housing on the farmland, okay? And as far as what the planning board has put together, I think that needs to go back to it after you come to us with something. This paper has to go back to the planning board.
Yeah.
For further review.
Carol, would you like to read the motion again? No, you do.
Well, kind of verbalized it a couple of different ways, but I'm gonna go with to refer to the town solicitor and the building zoning official to create something to allow farmers 4 units up to no more than 9 months per year. Seconded by Andrew, and then I would add that he then added that it should be returned to the town council and then ultimately back to the planning board.
That's a motion on the table. Any other discussion?
return to us in
2 weeks, what I hear, 2 weeks, yes.
Oh, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Thank you, Gary. Thank you, our chief comments.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Communications, comments from Barbara Fastmore and Edith Gordon regarding the proposal to rehabilitate 33 commons, which we considered the voters at the annual time. I'll make a motion to refer both of these to the Commons Review Committee. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
To application for renewal of the mobile food establishment license for Seashore Hot Dogs and Mobile Cart.
Motion to approve with all state and local ordinance adhered to.
All in favor?
Hi.
Application for the renewal of mobile food establishment license for Anita's Ice Cream Mobile Cart.
Motion to approve with all state and local ordinance adhered to.
All in favor? Aye. 4, application for a mobile food establishment license for the, I don't know what that word says, Akai and smoothies.
Same motion for this one.
Truck. All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you. request from the United Congregational Church for the town to allow
Congregational.
Congregational Church, the town to allow permission to walk around the commons after a vigil in honor of honor of Ukraine on Sunday, April 6th.
Victoria, you want to approve?
I'd like to, yes, I would. I'd like to make. a motion.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next request from American Legion Post 37 to hold its annual Memorial Day Parade and service on May 26th.
Wouldn't-
2025 at 10 a.m.
Motion to approve with notification to both the fire and police chiefs. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Request from Ashley Fastino, a wedding planner, Infinite Events, requesting to use a veterans lot between 3 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. September 2025 to park approximately 50 cars and shuttle people to Chase Point for wedding. I'll make this motion contingent on communicating with the rec committee that there's town present. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 8, request from Buzzards Bay Coalition to conduct the 2025 Buzzards Bay Watershed Ride on Sunday, October 5th, 2025, a cycling event, raising funds for the coalition. Cyclists will ride through the town before entering Massachusetts. Any motion for that?
I'd like to send this to the Harbor Commission for their input on it, the Harbor Master.
Ooh, a little wrinkle on that one. Is that a motion?
And that's the motion.
I'll second that. I'll second it.
Hang on, we'll just make sure about that I know what we're doing here.
Well, we're gonna send this to the Harbor Commission because it's on a point, so.
It's only starts there. They just meet
Right.
there and drive out. We've done this for about a decade. Going that.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the minimum, I want to send it to we can approve it, but I want the Harbor Master to be aware of it. He's the one who controls what goes on.
Approving
Yep.
contingent based on the.
Do we have a motion? What's the motion?
He wanted to refer it to the Harbor Commission, which I got feisty.
So I'm gonna make the motion, we approve it, but send it also to the Harbor Master for his
I'll second that one also.
information, so he'll know when it's happening.
So we have a motion, we have a second, we're under discussion. Is there someone that might have their hand up that wants to, oh, we do, discussion?
Probably.
You're gonna have to.
I got this.
Just because I don't understand, why does the harbor master need to get involved? Does it go through Secana Point?
It starts at Secana Point. It's not a big time of the year, but there are still fishermen going, so we need to let.
Absolutely.
That's the,
Sometimes you mumble a little, so I couldn't understand, and I did not know that it actually started at Secana Point. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Consent, anyone want to pull anything on this consent agenda?
Motion to place consent calendar on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of bills,
Motion to pay the bills as presented.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.